Hello, friend. You're welcome to this discussion on cybersecurity and what you should know. Please just note that this is not a discussion for experts in cybersecurity, neither does it promise to make anybody expert in cybersecurity. Here, I just want to create awareness for the need on cybersecurity for everybody. I remain your facilitator, Dr. Makwachuku Ojide, and I will be taking you through this discussion in the next few minutes on what you should know on cybersecurity. The truth is that cybersecurity is the protection to defend internet connected devices and services from malicious attackers, from cyber criminals and hackers. Companies actually use this practice to protect against phishing schemes, ransomwares and attack, identification thefts, data breaches, and financial losses. Nowadays, our daily life is more dependent on technology than ever before, and the benefits associated with this internet based kind of lifestyle is so much that we can hardly do without internet in our lives today. However, it comes with serious challenge. The challenge that there are criminals who are there online trying to explore every given opportunity to take away valuables from individuals. And that is why this discussion has become very, very important. So let's start with that question. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is basically is a discipline on its own. People go to university, to higher institutions to study this as a course. It's a discipline or a practice that covers how to defend devices and services from electronics attackers, by actors like hackers, spammers, cyber criminals. Cybersecurity focuses on determining the best way to defend all the assets, such as computers, your smartphone, internet connections, database, protecting them from attackers of any sort. And that is why we want to look at why is this important now. Well, we have explained that in our introductory notes. In today's world, one can hardly ignore cybersecurity because we almost depend on internet for virtually everything we do. And there are criminal individuals who have decided to make themselves available online just to explore every given opportunity. All right, and one single security breach can lead to exposure of vital personal information or company information and financial information, which can actually be used by these attackers to defraud the victims. And that is why it becomes important that everybody gets to know what cybersecurity is all about. All right, when you talk about the scale of cybersecurity, it's such so much. So much has been lost as a result of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has cost cybercrime basically has cost the world about 1.5 trillion annually. That's the prediction by criminal cybercrime magazine. Cybercrime magazine has projected by the year 2025, we're making this video into the year 2024, that by the year 2025, next year, cyber crime will cost the world nothing less than or around 10.5 trillion annually, US dollars. And so that is why it has become something very, very important. The issue of cashless or pandemic or cryptocurrency, have actually increased the need to depend on the internet for our transaction. All right, and these criminals try to see how to take advantage of this kind of resources. The fact that we are depending on this on daily basis, they try to see how to take advantage of these resources. Today's cyber crimes are not just criminals, they are not just part-time amateur persons, they are not kids. Sometimes these are sponsored, there are state sponsored adversaries, state sponsors, attackers, professional criminals looking to steal information, make large amounts of money from every given opportunity. A variety of cyber attackers, attacks launched against organization on daily basis is so much. This magazine also released information that some key companies, major companies, sometimes on the average, on weekly basis, some companies suffer up to 1,000 plus, 1,000 and something attacks on weekly basis from criminals who are looking for how to explore opportunities to take away valuables from all of these organizations. Now, some countries are actually quite very vulnerable when it comes to cyber crime. Some countries are basically vulnerable, especially the developing countries and the emerging economies are very, very vulnerable. And why? It's just because of the level of corruption in these nations, such that even government database could be compromised. What do we mean by that? Someone who is working for government could compromise the database such that the vital information, personal information, financial information could get into the hands of criminals who are online looking to explore opportunities. And once that is done, they can use it to take advantage from unsuspected victims. Okay, there are different kinds of cyber attacks everywhere, but I'm going to discuss 9 common ones. One of them is malware attack. Okay, malware attack is basically the short form of malicious software. Is the umbrella term used to refer to dangerous programs or files that are designed by these experts to exploit devices at the expense of the user, of the user, to the benefit of the attacker. So they design these files, they design this program and launch it. If you are not careful and you fall victim of it, they exploit that opportunity to their own advantage. The other one is ransomware attack. Just like the name ransom and kidnapping. It's just like kidnapping your website, by running a kind of a program that creates encrypts your website or your file, and then they will begin to demand for money from you to release a key that can encrypt that particular file. All right, this is also another strategy they use. The other one is password attack. This is a very common one. Despite the many known weaknesses of passwords, the truth is that password is still the most common authorization or authentic method used by computer-based devices or services to ensure that they're able to protect their assets, their facilities. They keep control in whatever they are doing online. All right. However, these attackers find a way of getting to attack the password of organizations, of individuals. Okay, that is why in case you are sending someone a password or username anywhere online, if you use the word password, some of them can quickly harvest it. So if you are sending somebody a password or or username, you may find another name of coding that thing without calling it a password, so that these ones who are online, sometimes they write a program or design something and put available online. Once the word password hits the internet, it gets to them, and so they look at it and see if it's something of interest. All right, so you find a way of making sure that you don't fall victim. Sometimes what they do is basically to try well-known passwords. For instance, you say password 123. They try it on some systems to see if it's going to work, or they visit the social media of the target victim, and see if they can get information from there, like birthday and all of that, and use it to try out the possibility of being able to predict your password. Or they do what we call dictionary attack as a way of trying to find out your password. They use pre-selected library, commonly used words or phrases to determine the kind of password a particular victim of interest may be using. All right. They also use what we call social engineering. Social engineering is easily for the attackers to try to look at personalized email or send text messages to people trying to pretend to be your friend on social media and all of that as a way of seeing if they can harvest your password. All right. The other one is what we call DDoS attack. DDoS attack is actually an abbreviation for a distributed denial of service. A distributed denial of service is an attack that involves the use of numerous compromised computer systems or mobile devices to target a particular server, website, or the network resources of an organization. The goal is basically to slow down or to crash a particular website by flooding it with messages or connection that requires multiplying itself in a way to make sure that the system is now slowed down and they're able to get the information they need to get from that particular website. The other one that is also common is what we call phishing. Phishing basically is when an attacker masquerades like a reputable organization or an individual to trick an unsuspected victim into handing over valuable information such as your password, your credit card details, your intellectual property. They can send you an email claiming to have sent you something on a consignment, and that the receipt for claiming it is available online, so they will ask you to download it. Once you click on that link, they're able to get the information they need from you. Okay, so these are basically what they do. They can also call you on phone pretending to be your relative. Hello, please, I'm your in-law. Your sister is sick in the hospital and we need help. If you're not very careful and you begin to flow with them, they will be able to get the information they need from you. The sixth one is man in the middle attack. Man in the middle attack is when the attacker secretly intercepts a message between two parties. You are sending a message to somebody without you knowing that someone at the middle has intercepted that message. It may be a call. Sometimes what we normally call that your call is being tapped. You are making a call to someone, and then somebody using technology has intercepted that call. It listens to all the discussions. Or you send a message to someone intercepts the message, reads the message, and then in real time also relay it to the other end without you knowing or suspecting that there's somebody that has entered in between you and the other party. And the idea is to see if they can get vital information from your conversation. Okay? The seventh one is when they try to clone a website, what we call URL interpretation or URL poisoning. URL interpretation or poisoning, if for instance this is the correct website of a particular firm, they may want to just clone this kind of website and add a small variation, just something different. You see, the difference between this and this is 2748, and then they have 1733. As a way of introducing this, they may get to introduce it if the website of the organization is porous. They can introduce this into that website so that people click on it to enter the account, and they're able to get the vital information from that particular end. All right, and the sixth one is water hole attack. Water hole attack, this is what is basically known as drive-by attack. An attacker uses a security vulnerability to add malicious code to a legitimate website. Maybe there is a government website here, and then they find a way of bringing in their own code into that government website, such that when people click on it, it will quickly transfer them to their own website that looks like government website, and then they're able to get the information they want to get. Or they may even corrupt your device or infect your system that you are using. All right, and the ninth one is insider threat. Insider threat is basically when an employer or an employee rather, or a contractor who have legitimate access to an organization system, and some may even have in-depth understanding of the cybersecurity of that system, and then they're able to use that advantage, that information to have, to defraud victims who are end users of that particular system. All right. Now, there are these common things we also need to be aware of. Two common maths, what people basically believe often that is true, which is not totally true. And one of them is the fact that some people believe that once you have a password, that you are fine and secure online. It's not always true. Or that once you delete your file from your system, from your laptop, then it's final. But the truth is that password alone is not enough to protect you. That's the truth. Okay? So you need to be careful. You should not solely depend on password and say that and think you are saved or your data is saved. So why we recommend that you use strong password is essential. Cyber criminals may still find a way of hacking into them. So often you keep an eye on what happens on your system or your device, or once you delete your file. But you see, by deleting your file from your system, the file basically moves into recycled bin. And maybe you have given someone a vendor somewhere to fix your system. They may want to visit your recycle bin to see whether there are vital information there. All right, so when it enters recycle bin, from there it will be emptied. But even after deleting that file, your data remains on the hard drive of your system, like the temporary file, for some time. And that is why, if that file is a very important one and you have deleted it, make sure you follow it up to be sure that it is totally handled. Okay? Now, I want to take us through some best practices. We'll run through these best practices and then we'll begin to summarize this discussion. Number one is the fact that it's important before you click any link. Do not be careless about the links you see online or someone sends you a link. All right? Check every link before you click on it. And number two, don't be nonchalant about your password. Use strong password, at least 8 to 12 characters, password, and make sure you include a mix of capital and lower case letters. Numbers may also be important to get, as well as symbols. So don't go ahead and reuse password that you have used and you want to reuse it again. You may be exposing yourself. Okay, you may want to be using password manager on Google and all of that. That could go a long way in case you, instead of going to write your password somewhere or save it somewhere on your phone. But if you have to save it on your phone, don't use the word password. Find something else to use and save it, or some personal information like your bank identification number. I don't expect you to save it on your phone with your, maybe in a country where they call it BVN. You write BVN and put the number. People who are hackers, once they get your phone and they scroll and they type BVM and it shows up, you're exposed. So you may find another code that you can remember and use it and save that kind of sensitive information. All right, then scan external devices for virus before you start exposing them to your system. And then make sure you have strong antivirus program to protect your system as well. Store sensitive information on secure space. That's the point we have made earlier. And for those of you who also use social media platform, you may enable two-factor authentication, so that anybody who wants to try your password, the system will send you information either on your mobile phone or on your email address. Okay, the other important point I need you to note is that it's good you are careful with adverts on apps. Some of the adverts on apps may not be coming from secure sources. All right, then if you are using your phone or your system, and then you are not connecting with your Bluetooth or your hotspot, try to put it off, disable it anytime you are not using it. All right, because it gets you exposed. People can connect to your device through your Bluetooth. All right, avoid using public or unknown network or Wi-Fi hotspot. You get to a hotel and you check in and you see available Wi-Fi. You don't just click to enter. If, for instance, there are criminals that are also lodged in that hotel and you enter there and they have launched a free Wi-Fi, for unsuspected victim to log in with it. If you do, you expose your system or your device to those people. They be able to read what you are doing. All right, so I prefer, if you get to a hotel, call the receptionist or ask the receptionist their authentic hotspots, or or internet connection, so that you know the one you are connecting to. Then avoid opening suspicious email. Then be careful of phishing scam. They could send it as an email asking you to download or to click a link to do something. They may even pretend to be your banker, and they have sent you an email that there is need for you to update your details. Please do not do that. If you're in doubt, call your bank, or you visit any of the branches. All right, they may call you on phone pretending to be an individual who needs assistance, or even send you a WhatsApp message or Twitter message or whichever platform they think they can use, and exploit your device. So you need to be careful and be aware that there are criminals that are out there. All right, maintain the most recent version of your software is important, as because what the software programmers do often is that if they are able to dictate weakness in their software, they try to update it, and updating it, they enhance security. Otherwise, if you are not using the latest version, you may be using your credit card on a system, but someone is behind the system who is a criminal trying to read your details and to exploit that opportunity. We've had people who fall victim of this kind of criminals. All right, so use antivirus. We have said it earlier, and then keep your smartphone and tablet safe. Be sure you know the person who is handling it. Somebody can pick it and scroll through it and do something with it without you knowing. They can even send a criminal message with your phone or or tablet, and then it's connected to you. You'll be answerable for that. If your operating system calls for updates, I want to encourage you to always try to keep it updated. Okay, make sure if your device is stolen or lost, that you report to security agencies. Otherwise, if it gets to the wrong hand, they can use it and do something criminal, and you'll be answerable for it. Okay, so we want to be summarizing by stating that, okay, for instance, if you are using WhatsApp, it's important you enhance your security. Okay, you enhance your security by taking the steps listed here. Never share your registration code or two-step verification PIN number with anybody. If they want to hack your WhatsApp, for instance, they will want to pretend to be you, and then use your number to try to create an account on WhatsApp. The system will automatically send you a code to be sure you are the owner. If you mistakenly release that code to these criminals, then they will hack your account. So enable what we call two-step verification. So that such kind of attempts can be sent to your email or to your mobile line for confirmation. All right. Then make sure that your devices is with someone physically, someone you know and you trust. You don't release your device to someone you don't trust. Someone who has physical access to your phone might use your WhatsApp account without your permission. So if you receive any request or email to reset your two-step verification PIN number or registration code, don't click on that link. If you click on it, that information will be harvested by the criminals. Some could even be attempted to, some could be an attempt to access your personal number on WhatsApp. Okay? So having said that, I want to conclude by saying that the more your device is connected to internet, the greater the value of that your device. Imagine you have a smartphone that is not connected to internet. The value will drop drastically. So connecting to internet makes your smartphone or your Android phone, whichever phone you are using, highly valuable. It adds value to it, but it also exposes you to attacks. Okay, and that is why it's important that you practice this we call cyber security consciousness. Cyber security consciousness can reduce the success rate of cyber attacks, reduce the rates of people falling victim. And that is why I want to say to you that please make sure you practice cyber security consciousness. And I'll leave you with that question: are you secure online. If you keep asking yourself question all the time, this question all the time, before you click anything, you ask yourself, am I secure if I click this? If you have in mind, bear in mind that there are criminals. Some of them are schooled in the act, they are trained in the act, waiting to exploit every given opportunity to take advantage of you or to take advantage of me. If you are aware of that, you'll be careful before you click or do anything online. Okay? I pray that you will not fall victim, and I will not fall victim, because even as I share this with you, I also know I'm vulnerable just as you are. And that is why I want to thank you for taking time to join in this discussion. I personally want to say a very big thank you to the leadership of Scripture Union Nigeria, Ekulu Zone, Enugu State, Nigeria. They were actually the one who invited me to share this seminar with them during their end of year camp meeting in December 2024. I presented this seminar in their program. Scripture Union is an international Christian organization that share the word of God with people everywhere. So I presented this seminar to create an awareness on cyber security, and I appreciate the leadership for inspiring me to create this content. So thank you for sharing with us in this understanding, and we wish you the very, very best. Stay safe anytime you are online. Cheers.